Okay, so this is the first demo of the consumer, is it called consumer default, Mike? Sorry, you're muted. I think you just made a joke and then.
Yeah, well, no, that's what I call it.
Okay.
Just so I don't get it, because it's like vacate the default judgment, which is the same as the other one that I was doing for
Right.
housing. So I just call it consumer default and just makes it everything easier.
Okay, perfect. So do you want to share your screen and everybody can chime in on this? What I've been through it before once with Mike, and it's I guess we could say it's a relatively simple interview with 6 screens. So let's see if there's any comments that everybody has. Okay.
Just the basic questions. This is the intro screen.
So just noticing that the list is not a list anymore, you probably need an extra line underneath the if colon.
Oh, with the star there. So
Mm-hmm.
do you see that?
What? Sorry, can you say that again, Michelle? I didn't understand what you're saying.
The list is not, oh, thank you. That's probably Quentin or someone.
Oh, that list. Oh, gotcha. Right. Okay. Yeah.
Okay.
Square within a square. I love it.
Okay, so just make a note of that. Otherwise, I mean, in terms of language, we're going to leave language today. So the thing is, where it says, do you have the judgment by default paperwork from the court? Should that be one of those yes, no? Bye, Eric.
Bye, Eric.
And I think David also has to, David, don't you have to jump off in a few minutes as well? Okay. Okay, so should it not be one of those yes, no buttons as opposed to next if you have that language there?
Yeah, could be.
Also, judgment is spelled
I'm trying to remember. We had
Mike.
There was
Well, I did not write judgment, so don't give me the credit.
Sorry, Caroline.
I think there was a piece that we put in there that we took out. And what I can't remember is I can't remember what was supposed to be a yes, no, or a next. I go back and look at what we had. That's not Mike. That's not on Mike. That's my fault. But I think we are supposed to ask. It says you can only file this motion if you have your case number. So we need some. I think we do need a yes, no. So yeah, we do, Mike. I think we need we need to get a case number. Okay. And if they don't have their case number, then I think we were talking to Matt about what to do to get a case number, and I don't remember what the conclusion of that is. I don't know if you have notes on that, but that's something we have to double check there.
So it could either be like what's it called? We could either have just the next and then have checkboxes in the question saying like yes or no, or we could have the yes no buttons as the continue buttons. With a kick out screen with the no, right? Is that would it be a kick out screen or would it not be?
It would be a kick out screen.
Okay.
But Maeve, I'm not sure that's the right question. So if we go to next, it might be that you asked that question on the next. I think I'm not quite sure what's happening with this.
Thanks, David.
Bye, David.
Happy anniversary for tomorrow. Okay, he's gone.
I don't know. It doesn't go to a yes no question for next.
Yeah.
The next screen.
So it's just this. So it does need something needs to be included here in terms of like, yes, I have the paperwork or no.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Sounds good.
Oh, I like this.
Oh, so this, Mike, we need to keep consistent case number and docket number. So if we are going to ask the question in the previous screen, docket number and case number are the same. So we have to say, do you have your docket number in the previous screen? If we're going to do that, just a note, right?
Oh, does it say case number?
We're not asking for case number and docket number.
Okay.
Okay, this is,
the previous screen says case number, the previous one.
So I think this is a really good example for everyone on the call of, I mean, it's not necessary currently on your guys' interviews, but where we can include this kind of post-MVP, it would be nice to have this kind of identifier. The reason we haven't included it in a lot of basic questions is because the form could look very different. So we don't want to have one image that then is misleading for people who look at their form and it doesn't look the same. So it works in this instance, but it won't work in all instances. But it's quite, this is the kind of first time that I'm seeing this in our interviews, and it looks good, Mike.
And the other thing we have to do post MVP on this is not very easy to read. So I posted a question to the doc assemble to figure out if there's a way that we can have a better, clearer image, and then click on this and have some sort of a pop-up. So I think that's in the work. Figuring that out is in the works, but ultimately we need that.
Okay.
You want someone to be able to click on the picture and see a bigger version of it? That's the idea, Caroline?
Bigger or just clearer? This is very fuzzy. And I think a bigger version would be clearer. Like here, you can't really see that it actually says docket number. You can't read this image, right?
Okay. These are all basic questions.
Well, I think the capitals here are. I think it needs to, right, Caroline. That needs to be.
The reason we put that in is because that's exactly what the text says on the form. So if you're looking, that choice was deliberate because that matches the box up there. Do you see what I mean? So maybe that's.
If we can, sorry about that. If we can capture that decision somewhere, that would be really good because it's a deviation from the style guide. So that's something to note so people don't quote unquote fix it in the future.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe you can put that as a comment above the code itself, since that is where that would be fixed.
Yeah.
Okay.
And we might add that. I think that's a good point, Michelle. And in the readability guide, we might indicate there that there
are exceptions. Yeah.
You might just want to make this P, because when we're saying, I think it's a proper noun here in this use. So, capital P. I'm violating the language rule.
I wouldn't make it be a capital P.
You wouldn't make it?
Bye, Vinny.
All right. We won't talk about it now.
Is it
violating the rule anyway?
Okay. So we're gonna leave. Okay, so that's capitalized because it's what it looks like on the form. Okay.
Yeah. Acne. Also, I take out the please in these signature pages.
That's a basic question.
Please.
Thing?
Yeah, I'm not always sure when it's a basic question, when it's an interview.
I think that's.
I don't think we have to say please and thank you.
So I think I think that's coming from a basic question. If Mike, could you just go back and press on source, please?
Yes, basic question.
Basic question.
Okay.
Okay, so that's in the. Okay, so Quentin, that's going to be a change that we're going to do. Let me just.
I should go through a readability, do a version of whatchamacallit, a new branch just to go through some of the basic questions. I did that a while ago. So, and Maeve, you and I still have to do that interpreter thing.
Yeah, I'll message you about that later after this. Okay. Perfect. Sorry, I was just asking about that. Yep.
It only comes out as a docx. It's the only thing.
Do we want it to be in PDF instead, or do we want options for both?
I don't know if it makes a huge difference.
It
probably do want it to be at least. I think there's a good argument for it being docx as well as a PDF. Because if there are any advocates who use it, this is going to probably be a really prime form for an advocate.
Okay.
And it will save them a lot of time, but they'll still want to customize it if it's an attorney who's using it.
And then is that spacing? I'm not familiar with this kind of case caption. Is that right in terms of like where the plaintiff and defendant are?
I think so, yeah. That
There's
looks
no one
right.
rule for it.
Okay.
Like I never use this type of case caption actually with the parentheses on the side.
Yeah. Yeah, it's a bizarre looking thing. Okay, so
It's definitely one that I have seen though. It's not like
Yeah.
it was made up, but
no, I've seen it as well.
Yeah, a lot of attorneys use this. Yeah.
The only thing that I would say would be that this kind of the positioning of the signature, it looks a little bit like all over the show. Is it in a table in the docx?
I'm not sure. I think it might be.
That's a way that I find helps me with docx templates is to put a table in there, remove the lines, and then it spaces it really nicely. So because
That's a good hint.
should it be
Yeah.
centered or should it be to the like I don't know, right line, left line? I'm not sure. I'm not familiar with the style.
I think right aligned. It does look like it's in a table. Here, can
It
we do
is in a
view
table.
grid lines or table
Yeah.
design and then
Yeah, there's kind of a tricky thing
I'll
with the
call it.
signature because if you don't do anything with the signature, the box is
table design? Sorry.
the image that you get is quite big.
Yeah.
And so
And
when you put the signature into something, you can define the width of it, which brings the whole thing smaller, and then it can fit where
try
you
under
want
view
to
instead.
put it.
Sorry, I just wanted. There's an option that says view grid line somewhere. Might be different. Yeah,
There
grid
There
line.
it is. It's right in the middle under reference. Yeah.
Quentin, you're
I'm
so
not actually
quick
sure
with
that's the
those.
right grid lines. It's not. There's one that's just for tables. Sorry, it must be different on Word and Mac.
Yeah.
Borders? No.
No.
Usually I would just
Anyway,
put all the
it's something to
borders back
follow
in.
up on later. You can probably figure out how to get
Yeah.
the table right. There you go.
There you
go.
go. Right.
All right.
Yeah.
Is that it?
I think Maeve's right. Make it right aligned. It should be a table that's the full width, and then it should have a cell that sets where you want the left border to be. So it's most right aligned.
And the date, the
Okay.
dated, this is just a stylistic thing. The date is in Calibri, I think, when the thing is in Times New Roman.
Ooh.
Good point. Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
good
catch.
catch.
Thanks. And then I think could it be nice to have the date also in that table so that it's all like, or would it usually be? I'm not sure. Like in South Africa, what we have is we actually have dated up at the top, above defendant, like place and date or whatever. But it might be nice to like keep that all in one kind of block.
So should the date be in the table and right aligned along with everything else?
That's my question. Thank you, Michelle. Yeah.
That's a good question. I've seen this style a lot where the date, I don't know if it's helpful for the clerks or if it matters at all. I think you're right as far as
I think the thing to do is just check with Matt because he does these all the time. So where does the date go on this motion?
When he gave this to me, the date was separate and it was left aligned
Okay,
Yeah,
so that's
from
the answer
the whole
then.
thing. So
So then what
Yeah.
you could do is you could make a table, or actually you could just leave it at the bottom like that. That's fine.
Yeah, I don't think you need a table. I think
you
you want
don't.
to
Yeah,
keep
you're
the
right.
font the same, but there's no
Yeah.
need for a table here.
But then what I would do for just looking at that table is I would delete the double
Extra
rows.
rows.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah.
are those for optional information or
optional information, or I think when I put it in the table too, there's like code that goes before and after the signature that won't appear. And that's
okay.
why it's kind of shown up there. So it's like I like the end if like right there.
You might be able to put the little minus sign. I don't know. I explored
There-
Ginger a bit.
There's a way to delete a table row. So if you have a conditional in there, it's %TR. I'll drop it on the code channel.
Okay.
I don't
Otherwise,
know if it's
this
like
looks good. I
that.
think.
Yeah.
How does it differ in the COVID template? If you could just maybe open up the COVID document. This looks really good though, Mike.
It was looking great.
So this is the COVID one. So pretty much just the language that's going throughout the document.
So then, as Caroline was suggesting, could we
Mhm.
have something like either at the beginning or the end? I'm not sure what makes the most sense. Saying,
Yeah.
is this? Do you have the same?
Yeah, I mean,
basically?
yeah. In fact, you can use. It looks to me like you can use one template, and if COVID, these paragraphs go in.
Mhm.
Sure, Caroline.
And your
next
questions,
level.
of course, in the interview will be different. But I think it makes sense to just have one interview, one template, and particularly because your template is a Word doc, so you can do whatever you want with. You can make it. Everything can be conditional.
Yeah. Yeah, it seems like these paragraphs are really just the only difference.
Bye, Nick. Bye, Nick.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could just do one template instead of like two different branches in the same interview, and then just have this show up if there's like an option that they click that they're trying to vacate it because of COVID.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you'll just have an additional screen in there saying something about because of COVID, like with a checkbox, like, or a yes no radio saying,
yeah,
is this as a result of the pandemic?
Yeah, you probably need to. You're probably going to need to explain. I'm just sorry, I'm blanking out on this because this is a very similar interview and result as the one that Michelle is working with Mariah on that's specific to COVID. And so what you're going to need to do is explain to your user why they can use this reason for vacating the judgment because they have certain rights during COVID, and in fact that the landlord never should have brought the not the landlord. Anyway, so I think the screen needs some explanation on it so that people know that they can ask and why. But otherwise, I think it could be the same interview, same template, and then just have a lot of conditions in there.
Yeah, I can do that.
And Mike, there's probably an explanation on Mass Legal Help about consumer defenses. Consumer explanations for removing default. I'm not 100% sure, but I think there is.
Okay.
Okay, perfect. So Mike, are you okay with then doing that suggested approach of what's it called? Combining
one interview and one template.
Yeah. And then creating that screen.
Yeah,
Super.
I can do that.
Bye, Sam.
And then when I'm done, I'll come back to you guys and show you what I have.
Perfect. Otherwise, this looks really good. I'm really impressed. You've got this DocX thing down, and on that point, I was wondering if perhaps you might be able to help me. We're trying to kind of capture the process with DocX, and I know that you've done two. So I'm like more afraid with the PDF side of things, but if I could schedule, I'll see you at 3, James. If I could schedule
James.
In the coming week or so, just to go through kind of things and documenting that, it would be great. Okay, I'll reach out to you about that.
Great.
Okay, good job.
Thank you.
That's it for today.
All right.
Wow. Okay. That's a whirlwind almost compared to our usual. Cool.
Yeah.
Very cool.
Okay. See you soon. Tomorrow, 3 o'clock actually. I'll see you at 3.
Everybody.
Yeah, today at 3. Okay, good. Bye.